Okay, we are going to cover here this explosive moment between RFK Jr and Bernie Sanders at the RFK confirmation hearing. But first, we are going to show that yet again, Bernie Sanders is being a hypocrite. So just a few weeks ago, there was speculation that Bernie may actually vote to confirm RFK. Check this video. This is from Bernie Sanders' YouTube channel 3 weeks ago. It's titled, "Make America Healthy Again." Who does this sound like?
No rational reason as the wealthiest nation on earth as to why we should not be the healthiest nation on earth. We should be leading the world in terms of life expectancy, disease prevention, low infant and maternal mortality, quality of life, and in fact, human happiness.
Today, almost 50% of teens in the United States are overweight or obese. In Japan, the childhood obesity rate is 3%. Half of Americans have pre-diabetes or type 2 diabetes.
And then we have this article here from The Hill on January 4th, where it talks about some Democrats being open to voting for RFK. Bernie Sanders is mentioned. Sanders penned an op-ed in The Guardian outlining proposed reforms to the healthcare system. And then it says here, the Vermont senator argued for across-the-board reform to the food industry, writing, large food corporations should not be making record-breaking profits, making children addicted to processed foods, which make them overweight and prone to diabetes and other diseases. Who does that sound like?
The biggest myth is that if you're obese or overweight, it's your fault. Today, 3/4 of American adults are obese or overweight, including 40% of American teenagers. Back when I was growing up, childhood obesity was almost unheard of. We haven't suddenly become lazy or gluttonous. What has changed is our food system, our diets, and the hormone-disrupting chemicals in our food, in our water, and our soil.
Okay, and that brings us now to this clip. 3 weeks after Bernie Sanders releases that video called Make America Healthy Again on his YouTube channel, here he is with RFK in this moment.
Hypocrisy. Our healthcare system is broken. And it's broken for some of the reasons that Mr. Kennedy indicated. We have not paid attention to the fact that we have massive amounts of chronic disease. We have not answered the question why in the richest country in the history of the world, our life expectancy is lower than it is in countries far poorer than we are. So I think in many ways, President Trump and Mr. Kennedy have asked some of the right questions. Problem is their answers will only make a bad situation worse.
Virtue signaling Bernie. Here we go again. This guy, this is all he does. All talk, no action.
So let me ask Mr. Kennedy again. If we want to make America healthy, will you assure the American people that you will fight to do what every other major country on earth does, guarantee health care to every single American?
I think, and I'm guessing, I think that is going to be Bernie's cop-out. Oh, you're not going to make healthcare a human right. A guy representing a Republican administration, they're not going to go for like a single-payer healthcare system or whatever exactly Bernie wants. Democrats were just in power, and there was no major push for that. This is such a cop-out. Bernie says all this stuff, childhood obesity, a lot of chronic disease in children, chronic disease across the country in general. All these other countries are healthier, and then he's just going to go right to the cop-out. Oh, but you're not going to do single-payer healthcare system, so I'm just going to throw out my vote. Again, maybe Bernie will vote for RFK. It doesn't seem like it. That, to me, is such a cop-out. All that stuff, Bernie, about caring about all the stuff about health. Come on, dude.
Healthier than other countries in the world right now.
Will you guarantee do what every other major country does? It's a simple question.
And by the way, Bernie, the problem of corruption is not just in the federal agencies, it's in Congress too. Almost all the members of this panel are accepting, including yourself, are accepting millions of dollars from the pharmaceutical industry.
Oh, no,
and protecting their interests.
Oh, I thought that would go. No. I ran for president like you. I got millions and millions of contributions. They did not come from the executives, not one nickel of PAC money from the pharmaceutical industry. They came from workers.
In 2020, you were the single largest
because I had
receiver of pharmaceutical money.
from workers all over this country. Workers
You were the
miss not a nickel from corporate
Bernie,
tax.
you were the single largest acceptor of pharmaceutical dollars.
No, from workers in the industry.
1.5 million.
Yeah, out of 200 million. All right, but you have not answered. Last question. You have not answered my question.
Mr. Chairman, we're 3 minutes.
That is a masterclass.
How do we make America healthy if you don't guarantee health care?
We're literally 3 minutes over here now.
Well,
how long does it keep going? At some time, you're just battering the witness, Bernie.
Not battering the witness.
Yes, you are. And you're getting upset at him. You're going at him just like anybody else would.
We'll come to order. Bernie's going over.
So my biggest takeaway from that entire clip is it sounds to me, I'm speculating that Bernie Sanders is just going to go for the cop-out of, oh, RFK is not going to go for single-payer health care, even though he's representing a Republican administration, even though I may agree with RFK on childhood obesity. I may agree with him on trying to get America's life expectancy up relative to some other developed countries. Bernie just sounds like, again, all talk, no action, total hypocrite. I'll end with one funny one here, showing him, though, to be a complete hypocrite. He does this constantly throughout politics. I think Bernie's legacy, number one, hypocrite. Number two, he did shine a light on wealth inequality, but I think he will be remembered as a hypocrite.
These are terribly complicated questions, and our time is up, but are you a capitalist?
No, I'm not a capitalist.
So you don't believe in the profit motive, free enterprise? If I have a better mousetrap, I make more money.
There's something to be said for free enterprise on a local level and competition. But what we're happening in our society is we don't live in a free enterprise society. You live in a corporate capitalist society where in virtually every single industry you have giant multi-billion-dollar corporations competing, driving the small businessman
But let's
out.
pretend it would work without all that kind of acquisition of power that is unfair and doesn't...
Do I believe that the profit motive is fundamental to human nature? The answer is no. I think the spirit of cooperation, that you and I can work together better rather than having to compete against each other and destroy each other.
That is an old clip, sure, but it doesn't sound much different, if at all, than Bernie would sound today. Not a capitalist, profit motive not fundamental to human nature. Let's check out a recent interview here with Lex Friedman.
Do I own 3 residences? Yeah, I do. I live here in Burlington, Vermont. We live in a middle-class neighborhood. Nice house. And guess what? Like many thousands of people in the state of Vermont, I have a summer camp. It's a nice one on Lake Champlain. That's it. Now, how did I get the money? You're right. I wrote 2 best-selling books, including this book on capitalism. It was
making money, selling, probably the book is just bashing capitalism. At least would be critical of it, I think. And then you're making money, the profit motive, but it's not fundamental, apparently, to human nature or whatever he said word for word. I mean, the stuff like Rights Itself, it's so rich. Again, it's just, Bernie is just the biggest virtue signaler I think there actually probably is in politics. He just goes on there. He rants. He shouts. He gets so many people to believe he says, like, I don't now trust him really at all. Again, I think he does get a little bit of credit in his career for shining a light on wealth inequality, but I think that was so obvious anyway. Somebody else would have done it. He always caves. He just goes right back to Hillary Clinton in 2020. The Democrats kind of pushed him out when they all kind of voted, or they all in the primary all went all together, all at the same for Joe Biden. Bernie was just like, oh, I guess that's the way it goes. I'll just go back to the Senate, whatever. This guy.
New York Times bestseller for a while. And also another book was a youth book. And I make, I don't know, $175,000 a year. And that's more or less how I...
So I'll finish the video there. But again, I just think Bernie is just a hypocrite. So anyway, with that said, I'll finish the video. I think I've made my point. Like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.